group of people around, making this something that is a public mission to make sure that when people are out and they're of age, that they drink responsibly, that they're not in close trying to drink their sorrows away or going too far, and they're not. It's just about going too far. I take pride in being an ambassador of food. And when you see somebody and they've had one too many, that's one of the most unsexy looks you could have. It does not fit in the art of celebration. We will not have that at Ciroc. This is a very exciting time. I'm from Harlem and Mount Vernon, New York, and you know, to grow up in those neighborhoods, we always saw Times Square as something that was so overwhelming, and to now be able to take over Times Square, you know, as a New York boy, I'm just proud and happy to be here. This is truly a humbling experience. The whole campaign is about step into the circle. It's about the inner circle. So when I talk about this circle, I talk about my inner circle of friends. We about to do it. I love my friends and I love y'all. Let's go.
In 2009, Combs formed and produced the musical group Diddy, Dirty Money, which released their debut album Last Train to Paris in 2010.
Yes.
You need an experience. We're gonna perform a couple of new songs. You know what I mean? We're gonna do some old songs, some old Bad Boy songs. We're gonna help Diddy with, of course, a little medley or something. I mean, we're gonna have fun tonight. We're gonna show up. Don't get ready to sweat because we might go over our time. We might have a good time out there. I mean, well, I was a part of the group before, you know, so it was, but this is a whole different level of awesomeness right here. But you know what? It feels good. Like Puff says, it feels good to work with a team. I'm better with a team, and these people make me better. And I just feel like my lighting looks better when I have two people next to me. Things just look a little bit better when I have people that support with me. So it feels good, and to be here and have y'all see how great we really are, we could be. We sharing it with y'all first, so y'all get the raw and uncut new Dirty Money. I mean, how great is it?
Distinguished himself by infusing his brand with elements of luxury and grandeur. This approach mirrored his strategy in subsequent ventures wherein he provided his clientele with aspirational products and fulfilled their desires with what he refers to as a supreme product.
Hey everybody. Hello. How y'all doing? Welcome to Macy's. This has been a partnership of over 13 years that is constantly and still evolving in a positive direction. Today, us opening up our own shops that will give us our own unique identity and give you a piece of the lifestyle that we're trying to also give you through clothes and apparel. This is the first of many shops that we hope to open in the 400 doors that we're in with Macy's. And I just look forward to the future. Here's the big one. Go. All right, come on everybody. Come on everybody, come look around.
As a result, Diddy received the prestigious Menswear Designer of the Year award from the Council of Fashion Designers of America in 2004, making him the first black designer to be honored in that category since 1981. This disruption in the industry's landscape continues to influence the present day, as Fashion Week shows prominently feature creators of color who seamlessly blend streetwear and high fashion.
You're a man known for his fashion sense. You obviously have your own fashion range, which has done really well. People may know you've won awards year in, year out for your clothing line, haven't you, as well?
I won they call it the Oscar of the Fashion Awards. It's called the CFDA Award. And it's the top honor you could get as a designer.
Not bad. So I was hoping maybe you could give us some tips. I mean, I'll struggle.
To be honest, your look you have on right now is really It's really chic. It's really the trendy look right now. Three-piece suits are really heavily, especially with jeans or with corduroys or, you know, dressing it up or dressing it down the way you want it to dress up. Dirt on your sneakers gives some character.
I think it makes him
White, very dirty sneakers.
it's a great cut. I mean, definitely the direction known for some of the best cuts in the world. Also, so you look good.
Thank you very much.
The brand's unapologetic defiance of conventions has become the new standard, and Sean John can be credited with blurring the boundaries between different styles. Sean Combs continues to embody the same determination and entrepreneurial spirit in his philanthropy endeavors and political activism. Recently, he took a leading role in responding to the water crisis in Flint, Michigan, by pledging 1 million bottles of his Aqua Hydrate water and providing long-term assistance to the area.
It was that simple. I really do not like tasting. The majority of the waters that are on the market, I'm just a regular consumer looking for something always that makes me feel good and taste good. But the real story behind my involvement is that I grew up in Harlem, New York, and favorite beverage in Harlem was Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid, all flavors made with a half a pound bag of sugar. And for years, that was my beverage of choice. I would never drink water. That's why I have so much flavor. So, I never drank water. I just started getting older and I started having kids. The importance of having balance in my life became more important to me. Different waters tasted like chemicals. They didn't have what this water has. The alkalinity, pH level, balance that I need. So I fell in love with this water. And that's the most important thing for me as far as getting into a business is falling in love with something that will naturally be in my lifestyle. I knew that this was the water for me to be in business with because my kids love it. I have 6 kids. Once I saw them starting to drink water because they have my DNA and they were also Kool-Aid kids, it was something that was cool to me that we could have success in. Marcus is probably the only person I can say that works harder than me, that knows how to market as good as me. And this is a water that we're going to take all the way to the top.
In August 2016, Combs launched the Capital Preparatory Harlem School, a charter school he founded in Harlem, New York, further exemplifying his commitment to education. Undoubtedly, Diddy is an influential mogul who has left an undeniable mark on the music industry, particularly in hip-hop. But it was not to last. In the same year, a video was released. The video appears to show
打交道哦，我真的碰到飞出去，就跟玩鱼而已，真的。
intelligence officer with top security clearance and with experience in
to investigate, well, aerial phenomena, which is kind of a code word for UFOs. All these years, people who think that we're being visited were claiming that the government was, in fact, possessing some secret knowledge about this. And sure enough, they did have this secret investigation.
For Luis Elizondo, the New York Times article served as a vindication for the years that his research went unrecognized and his warnings unheeded. For if the UFO activity being reported was real, so too was the possibility that it was being caused by technologies that were not only unknown, but of extraterrestrial origin.
Elizondo, he resigned because he felt the government considered this a joke. I think that the fact that these folks are out there trying to get the answers that we're all seeking, absolutely fantastic. And they're getting to top government officials. And someday, we're going to get the answers from people like that. Not from government, but from people like that.
Luckily for Luis Elizondo, one of the people who took him and his research seriously was musician and UFO researcher Tom DeLonge. Tom DeLonge, who is most famous for his being the lead in Blink-182. I've known Tom for a while, and he's spearheaded an initiative that's brought together a number of scientists and others to both continue to study the phenomenon on the outside in the private sector and raise funds to do that.
His enthusiasm, his passion has driven things forward. A lot of people were saying, what does a rock star know about this? Let's not forget that sometimes even people in government and military and the intelligence community get a little starstruck when they should by celebrities. Tom DeLonge was able to use this to leverage, I guess, access where others have been trying to fail.
In October 2017, Tom DeLonge announced the creation of his To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, an organization devoted to the study of UFOs and the possible existence of extraterrestrial activity here on Earth. When Elizondo left the Pentagon, he was determined to bring ATIP's years of investigation out of the shadows by releasing several of the videos he had collected. One of them featured this incredible encounter taken by a fighter jet in Florida in 2015, now known as the Gimbal video. On December 18th, 2017, DeLonge and Elizondo revealed a second shocking video, which was released through the Washington Post. This UFO had been tracked by the USS Princeton for several days over the Pacific Ocean, approximately 100 miles southwest of San Diego.
On the screen, it also says the speed of the F-18 is 250 knots, roughly about 280 miles per hour. This F-18 can't seem to get any closer to this vehicle, whatever it is. Now, the F-18 is one of the highest technology fighter crafts on the planet, and it can't catch this thing. When it darts off screen to the left, it would be going extremely fast. The G-forces would turn a person inside it into like tapioca pudding. I mean, it would kill them.
In March 2018, a third Pentagon video entitled Go Fast was released and featured yet another unexplained aerial encounter.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But perhaps the most shocking information to come from Tom DeLonge and his To the Stars Academy was Luis Elizondo's claim that Bigelow Aerospace had modified its buildings for the storage of strange metal alloys of unknown origin, also known as metamaterials.
Now, stop the presses right there. What are these metal alloys?
Luis Elizondo has referred to these as metamaterials.
The implication is that they're not special magical elements or anything, but they do seem to be materials that have been studied. According to Elizondo, tests have been run. The answer has come back. Whatever these things were, they came from space.
There was also indications that there were certain polymers that were discovered at crash sites that were unexplained and were reviewed.
You know, for years and years, UFO researchers had talked about crash retrievals of UFOs, or that elements of these objects had been recovered and were being studied, and skeptics would laugh at these claims. You know, how ridiculous such conspiracy, paranoid fantasies were. Well, guess what? Now we have it confirmed.
What are these materials? Are they of this Earth? Are they from an advanced alien intelligence? Were these metals actually taken from crashed UFOs? What are the sources for these kinds of metals? These are the kind of questions that we need to learn the answers to if we're going to get to the bottom of understanding what the government knows about UFOs.
Is it possible that the U.S. military has recovered crashed extraterrestrial spacecraft, and that wreckage from these aircraft is currently being stored and studied by a top-secret team at Bigelow Aerospace?
One of the really interesting things about ATIP is how much information hasn't been released. We hear things that are coming. There's this report that was written that we're supposed to get to see at some point. Haven't seen it yet. And then, are there more videos? We've seen, I think, 3 videos come out that they've released. There has to be more. They were doing this for like 5 years, or maybe even a lot longer than that. I bet you there's a lot more.
Other secret military programs have been going on for many, many decades. And it's really just the tip of the iceberg.
Was the U.S. government's ATIP program the only one to be investigating extraterrestrial activity? And if so, how was it started and why? And was the government seriously concerned that such activity was happening? Or was the bigger concern that the public would find out about it? Washington, D.C., 2007. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid of Nevada summoned Senator Daniel Inouye from Hawaii and Alaska Senator Ted Stevens to a secure room in the Capitol building for a secret meeting. He convinces them to lend their support to fund a project researching UFO reports in the interest of national security. The Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, or ATIP.
Senator Reid was successful in getting money into the Defense Department budget to create a small office to look at what the government knew and to study some more recent incidents that have occurred and to delve into the background and to try to explain what pilots who had encountered strange aerial phenomena couldn't explain.
Without any public debate, $22 million is allocated for ATIP from a black money budget that few people know about or can monitor.
Much of it, I think, was classified. Much of it was unclassified, but I think people didn't know about the program. I'm very glad that my friend Harry Reid decided that he would pursue this, then sought money for it. Senator Stevens was genuinely interested in the topic, but none of them went out and discussed it.
When later asked about his support for the program, Senator Reid said that he was inspired by his friend, retired former senator and astronaut John Glenn. Glenn, the first American astronaut to orbit the Earth, told Reid that he thought that the federal government should be looking seriously into UFOs. But there are some who believe that Reid's support owes less to John Glenn than to his friendship with one of the senator's largest campaign contributors, Robert Bigelow, the founder of Bigelow Aerospace.
Robert Bigelow owned a series of hotels, and he sold it and made a lot of money. He decided then he wanted to get into space exploration. He's fascinated by extraterrestrials and UFOs.
NASA was providing insight as opposed to oversight.
which is an important distinction there. And his dear friend, Senator Harry Reid of Nevada, was convinced by Robert Bigelow to get the government to spend $22 million into this program to investigate UFOs.
It's not a coincidence to my mind that he was involved in the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. He builds rockets and planes and who knows what else, and he seems like a perfectly logical person to have been the point man in the private sector for using the information that was gleaned from that project, whatever it was, and we don't know what a lot of it was because it's classified.
At the time, the fact that much of ATIP's research was outsourced to Bigelow Aerospace made perfect sense. First of all, the company already had a staff of highly qualified aerospace engineers. And secondly, an outside company could operate without the kind of public scrutiny imposed on a government-based agency. Bigelow could operate in total secrecy.
Private companies aren't held to the Freedom of Information Act. Private companies can do whatever they want to with their funding, and you can't go then and fill out a Freedom of Information Act request. That's a way to keep things more secretive.
But was the ATIP program's need for secrecy merely designed to keep its UFO findings independent of public scrutiny? Or was there a greater interest in hiding not only what ATIP was finding, but also what those in charge of the program were looking for? In May 2017, Robert Bigelow was the subject of a profile on CBS's 60 Minutes. The piece focused on Bigelow's relationship to NASA and his activities in creating life support habitats for future astronauts. During his interview, Bigelow revealed to 60 Minutes that he was not only an aerospace enthusiast, but a full-fledged believer in extraterrestrials.
Do you believe in aliens?
I'm absolutely convinced. That's all there is to it.
Do you also believe that UFOs have come to Earth?
There has been and is an existing presence, an ET presence. And I spent millions and millions. I probably spent more as an individual than anybody else in the United States has ever spent on this subject.
Is it risky for you to say, in public that you believe
I don't give
in
a damn.
UFOs and aliens?
I don't care.
You don't worry that some people will say, did you hear that guy? He sounds like he's crazy.
I don't care.
Why not?
It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to change reality of what I know.
Bob Bigelow said, ETs are here. They're right under your nose. And he uses the word ET. He doesn't beat around the bush. Robert Bigelow became my hero. That I don't give a damn really was for a lot of people. It was for every billionaire space jockey out there, whether it's Elon Musk or Branson or Bezos. But guess what? None of those people have ever said to a reporter, I'm pretty sure there's extraterrestrials here. Bigelow did.
We must now go and ask the head of Bigelow Aerospace, what does he mean that aliens are under everyone's noses? This story really is begging for somebody to go to Robert Bigelow and say, can we now go and see York Warehouse? What a fantastic next step it would be for the world.
Although funding for the ATIP program was quietly ended in 2012, there are those who believe that its focus on the study of recent UFO activity and on the study of extraterrestrial life are still alive and well, although now further hidden under a different agency name.
When the Pentagon grudgingly admitted the existence of the ATIP program, they did a clever thing, and they said that the funding had run out in 2012. The implication was that the program was no more. But with my knowledge of the way in which these classified, sensitive programs are run, pulling the funding plug is not the same as terminating the project.
But while some version of the government's ATIP program may still be operating in secret, the same cannot be said for some of the agency's former employees. And there is one, in particular, who is not only open to the idea that aliens do exist, he has made it his mission to communicate his findings throughout the world. When the New York Times story broke, revealing the existence of the U.S. government's ultra top secret ATIP program, UFO experts and ancient astronaut theorists had validation for what they knew had been happening for decades. That the government has proof of extraterrestrial visitation, and that they have been hiding it from the public.
The investigations were denied during the time of their happening, and it's really curious that we're always told, no, these programs are not happening, and then 20 years later, these documents are being released to reveal the fact that these investigations did happen.
My initial reaction to the information that was released in December of 2017 was that this has really been going on for over 70 years.
Although the government's ATIP program was established in 2007, it was by no means the first top secret program designed to investigate UFO activity in the United States. The first was known simply as Project Psi, and it was set up within the U.S. Air Force to investigate unexplained aerial phenomena, such as the event now known as the Battle of Los Angeles.
What's called the Battle of LA is actually one of the earliest unexplained UFO mysteries in our modern era. 3 months after Pearl Harbor, it took place on the early morning of February 25th, 1942. An unknown object appeared over Los Angeles, and anti-aircraft guns opened fire on it.
The anti-aircraft guns began barking during a blackout ordered by the 4th Interceptor Command at 2:25 a.m.
1,430 artillery shells were fired at several unknown objects. Many eyewitnesses on the ground saw this. There was concern that the Japanese were somehow involved, but there was no Japanese aircraft carrier, no chance that Japanese airplanes could have been responsible for this. The Secretary of the Navy said to the public it was just war nerds, there was nothing out there whatsoever.
Although the U.S. Army Air Force officially dismissed the objects seen in the sky as weather balloons, they failed to explain why so many weather balloons would have been floating over Los Angeles in the first place. In the years following the Battle of Los Angeles, numerous other UFO sightings were reported, including the one widely referred to as the Roswell incident, in which an unidentified object, referred to in the press as a flying saucer, reportedly crashed on a ranch just outside the town of Roswell, New Mexico on July 4th, 1947.
Within 24 hours, the story changed. And they said, we made a mistake. It's not a flying disc, it's just debris from a weather balloon.
The Roswell incident